Cold Case Files from USSR, Moscow's Phantom Heist King. In the gritty chaos of 1990s, Moscow, a phantom gangster struck fear into the heart of the city, leaving a trail of heists and bodies in his wake, until a shocking twist unmasked the true mastermind. 5 gripping chapters unravel this chilling tale of deception and crime. Chapter 1 sets the stage in post-war Moscow, a city that had forgotten the terror of armed heists, only to be plunged into a new wave of crime after the USSR's collapse, as Mikhail Ustinovich, born in a penal colony, emerges with a dark ambition to terrorize the capital. Chapter 2 dives into the summer of 1993, when Ustinovich, posing as the infamous Valery Volovik, orchestrates brazen heists on Svet stores, striking with precision and leaving taunting clues like spent bullet casings, sparking panic as police struggle to keep up. Chapter 3 reveals Ustinovich's sinister alter ego, an officer in a Russian army uniform, targeting apartments with chilling tactics, from locking children in bathrooms to a fatal robbery on Kantemirovskaya Street, while a new wave of exchange point heists claims more lives, intensifying the manhunt. Chapter 4 escalates with the October 1993 Lubyansky store shootout, where Ustinovich's gang kills guards in a brazen firefight, leaving behind a dropped sports cap that becomes a crucial clue as police and FSB close in, tracking stolen goods to Moscow's pawn shops. Chapter 5 races to a dramatic climax as a sting operation at a pawn shop captures Ustinovich and his accomplices, Olga Pishlova and Nikolai Gresko, revealing his true identity through a groundbreaking scent identification from the sports cap, leading to his confession and death sentence, while Volovik's story remains unresolved. Can Moscow ever outrun the ghosts of its criminal past, or will the Phantom Heist King's shadow linger forever? Chapter 1 Moscow's Forgotten Peace Shattered. In the fading calm of post-war Moscow, a city thought it had buried its criminal past. But what terror would the 1990s unleash? The crisp Moscow air of the late 1940s carries the scent of coal smoke, freshly baked bread, and the faint tang of pine from nearby forests, the cobblestone streets of the Arbat district bustling with cautious optimism, the dim glow of rusted lampposts casting long shadows on Soviet-era buildings, their faded facades bearing the scars of war, the 1940s Soviet decay stark in the cracked pavement and rusted tram tracks snaking through the city, a stark contrast to the faded red banners proclaiming unity, a city healing from its past. The hum of daily life fills the air, the ground worn by the footsteps of Muscovites, the 1940s decay evident in the rusted street signs proclaiming factory quotas, a silent testament to a system of control, the air heavy with the hum of peace as the terror of the Black Cat Gang fades into memory, the 1940s decay, a fading backdrop in the cleaner uniforms of militia officers patrolling the streets. The air thick with the scent of stability as the concept of an armed heist becomes a relic of cinema screens. The 1940s decay, a haunting backdrop in the rusted trams creaking through the city, the air heavy with the scent of calm as residents live without fear. What terror would the 1990s unleash on this fragile peace? The air heavy with the scent of ink and dread as the USSR begins to crumble. The 1940s decay, a haunting backdrop to a city on the brink of chaos. Moscow's post-war calm. In the late 1940s, Moscow breathes a sigh of relief, the air thick with the scent of coal smoke and renewal as the city rebuilds after World War II. The 1940s decay evident in the rusted street signs and faded propaganda posters, the air heavy with the hum of order as law enforcement clamps down on crime. The 1940s decay, a fading backdrop in the cleaner bread lines where citizens queue, the air thick with the scent of control as the Black Cat Gang's reign of terror becomes a distant memory. The 1940s decay, a haunting backdrop in the rusted factories humming with production, the air heavy with the scent of peace as any use of weapons is treated as an extraordinary event. The 1940s decay, a fading memory as the Soviet system tightens its grip. The air thick with the scent of stability as Muscovites live without the shadow of armed heists, the concept a mere fantasy of cinema screens. The 1990s crime wave. By the early 1990s, the Soviet Union's collapse shatters this calm, the air thick with the scent of coal smoke and chaos as Moscow faces a tidal wave of crime. The 1990s decay, evident in the cracked pavement and rusted kiosks, now selling stolen Western goods, the air heavy with the hum of dread as law enforcement fears the city could become a new gangland capital. The 1990s decay, a fading backdrop in the neon-lit casinos that draw criminals. The air thick with the scent of tension as armed heists return with a vengeance. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop in the rusted police stations, overwhelmed by reports. The air heavy with the scent of fear as Moscow teeters on the edge of becoming a 1930s Chicago. The 1990s decay, a fading memory in the cleaner weapons now flooding the streets. The air thick with the scent of desperation as a new breed of gangster emerges, bold and unmasked, determined to be remembered. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop to a city spiraling into chaos. Ustinovich's early life, an encounter with Volovik. Maartide, Ustinovich's story begins in 1958. Born in a penal colony, the air thick with the scent of damp concrete and despair as his mother, a prisoner, raises him behind bars. The 1950s decay, evident in the rusted, barbed wire surrounding the colony. The air heavy with the hum of confinement as he grows up in the shadows of crime. The 1950s decay, a fading backdrop in the cleaner uniforms of the guards. The air thick with the scent of rebellion as he commits his first robbery at 13. The 1950s decay, a haunting backdrop in the rusted cell where he's first detained. The air heavy with the scent of inevitability as he spends 2/3 of his life in prison. The 1950s decay, a fading memory as he emerges in 1993, hardened and ambitious. During a prison transfer in 1986, the air thick with the scent of sweat and tension, Ustinovich encounters Valery Volovik, a notorious Baltic gangster. The 1950s decay, a haunting backdrop in the rusted transport van. The air heavy with the scent of opportunity as there are striking resemblance. Same build, same cold eyes, sparks a plan. The 1950s decay, a fading backdrop in the cleaner mirror where he imagines his future. The air thick with the scent of deception as Ustinovich decides to impersonate Volovik. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop to a question that lingers. The air heavy with the scent of dread as Moscow braces for his arrival. What deadly scheme would Ustinovich unleash under Volovik's name? The next chapter will delve into the Svet store heists, Ustinovich's impersonation tactics, and the initial police response, setting the stage for a chilling escalation. I Chapter 2. The Svet store heists begin. In Moscow's neon-lit chaos, a phantom gangster struck with ruthless precision. But who was the mastermind behind the mask? The humid summer air of Moscow in 1993 hangs heavy with the scent of coal smoke, sweat, and the faint tang of rain on cracked pavement. The neon glow of kiosks casting flickering shadows on Soviet-era buildings, their faded facades peeling under the weight of time. The 1990s Soviet decay, stark in the rusted tram tracks snaking through the city, a stark contrast to the sleek Western cars parked along the streets, a city caught in the throes of post-Soviet turmoil. The hum of bustling markets fills the air, the ground worn by the footsteps of Moscow's weary residents, the 1990s decay evident in the rusted storefronts of Svet stores, a silent testament to a system in collapse, the air heavy with the hum of fear as a new wave of crime grips the capital. The 1990s decay, a fading backdrop in the cleaner neon signs that signal a city on the edge. The air thick with the scent of tension as Mikhail Ustinovich begins his reign of terror. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop in the rusted doors of the stores he targets. The air heavy with the scent of dread as a phantom strikes. Who is the mastermind behind the mask terrorizing Moscow? The air heavy with the scent of ink and dread as the city braces for chaos. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop to a tale of crime and deception. Ustinovich's impersonation of Volovik. Moscow in the summer of 1993 is a city of shadows. The air thick with the scent of coal smoke and desperation as the Soviet Union's collapse fuels a criminal surge. The 1990s decay evident in the cracked pavement and rusted kiosks now selling stolen goods. The air heavy with the hum of opportunity as Ustinovich, a lifelong criminal, seizes his chance. The 1990s decay, a fading backdrop in the cleaner streets where he plans. The air thick with the scent of ambition as he adopts the identity of Valery Volovik, a notorious Baltic gangster. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop in the rusted prison where he once saw Volovik. The air heavy with the scent of deception as their striking resemblance. Same build, same cold eyes becomes his weapon. The 1990s decay, a fading memory in the cleaner mirror where he perfects his disguise. The air thick with the scent of tension as Ustinovich, fresh from his latest prison stint, arrives in Moscow, his plan to mimic Volovik's heist style and vanish under his own name, a daring gamble. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop to his sinister intent. The first Svet store heists. The Svet stores become Ustinovich's first targets. The air thick with the scent of tension and fluorescent light as he strikes on Malikina Street. The 1990s decay evident in the rusted sign above the store. The air heavy with the hum of panic as he and his accomplice burst in at 2 p.m. The 1990s decay, a fading backdrop in the cleaner cash register he empties. The air thick with the scent of fear as Ustinovich, unmasked in a sports cap and glasses, points a Makarov pistol, his partner, a lean man in glasses, guarding the door. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop in the rusted shelves they knock over. The air heavy with the scent of chaos as they fire a shot into the ceiling, leaving a spent casing as a taunting souvenir without showing blood. The 1990s decay, a fading memory in the cleaner getaway car they flee in. The air thick with the scent of dread as they net 3 million rubles. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop to their swift escape. Police arriving just minutes too late. The air heavy with the scent of frustration as the city reels from the boldness of the heist. Panic grips Moscow. The heists continue, the air thick with the scent of coal smoke and panic as Svet stores on Novosibirskaya and Sarsen Lane streets are hit. The 1990s decay evident in the rusted doors, now locked early. The air heavy with the hum of fear as Ustinovich leaves a newspaper clipping at Sarsen Lane, taunting police with a report of his previous heist. The 1990s decay, a fading backdrop in the cleaner panic buttons cashiers now press. The air thick with the scent of tension as stores close 15 minutes early. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop in the rusted gates they secure. The air heavy with the scent of dread as customers are forced out. The 1990s decay, a fading memory in the cleaner security measures they adopt. The air thick with the scent of chaos as Ustinovich's spree escalates. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop to a question that lingers. The air heavy with the scent of fear as Moscow braces for more. How long could this phantom gangster evade justice? The next chapter will delve into Ustinovich's officer disguise, the apartment heists, and the escalating violence, setting the stage for a chilling unraveling. Chapter 3: The Officer's Deadly Masquerade. In Moscow's shadowed streets, a criminal donned a new disguise, but how many would fall to his deadly masquerade? The autumn chill of Moscow in 1993 seeps through the cracked pavement of Kontamirovskaya Street. The air thick with the scent of damp leaves, coal smoke, and the faint tang of fear. The dim glow of rusted lampposts casting flickering shadows on Soviet-era apartment blocks, their faded facades peeling under the weight of time. The 1990s Soviet decay stark in the rusted mailboxes hanging crookedly, a stark contrast to the neon flicker of a nearby kiosk selling Western cigarettes. A city gripped by the chaos of a new era. The hum of nervous whispers fills the air, the ground worn by the footsteps of Moscow's anxious residents. The 1990s decay evident in the rusted stairwells of apartment buildings, a silent testament to a crumbling system. The air heavy with the hum of dread as Mikhail Ustinovich dons a new disguise. The 1990s decay, a fading backdrop in the cleaner military uniform he wears. The air thick with the scent of tension as his crimes escalate. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop in the rusted doors he knocks on. The air heavy with the scent of terror as his masquerade turns deadly. How many would fall to this officer's chilling deception? The air heavy with the scent of ink and dread as Moscow reels under his shadow. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop to a tale of violence and betrayal. Ustinovich as the officer. Moscow in late 1993 is a city on edge, the air thick with the scent of coal smoke and paranoia as Ustinovich, emboldened by his Svet store heists, adopts a new persona. The 1990s decay evident in the rusted pawn shops where he fences his loot. The air heavy with the hum of deceit as he dons a Russian army officer's uniform. The 1990s decay, a fading backdrop in the cleaner insignia he pins on. the air thick with the scent of trust as he exploits the respect for the military. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop in the rusted stairwells where he lurks. The air heavy with the scent of menace as he targets vulnerable residents. The 1990s decay, a fading memory in the cleaner chocolate bars he uses to lure children. The air thick with the scent of tension as his new disguise amplifies his terror. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop to his calculated cruelty. The air heavy with the scent of dread as Moscow's residents lock their doors, unaware of the phantom in their midst. The apartment heists. Ustinovich's new scheme unfolds with chilling precision, the air thick with the scent of fear and betrayal as he targets an apartment on Kantemirovskaya Street. The 1990s decay evident in the rusted doorbell he rings, the air heavy with the hum of deception as he tricks Volyova with a fake call about a friend's death. The 1990s decay, a fading backdrop in the cleaner phone he uses, the air thick with the scent of sorrow as Volyova leaves for a non-existent funeral. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop in the rusted lock he breaks, the air heavy with the scent of chaos as he ransacks the apartment, leaving a shattered vase as a symbol of his intrusion without showing blood. The 1990s decay, a fading memory in the cleaner valuables he steals, the air thick with the scent of terror as Volyova's elderly relative, injured by a fall, glimpses his uniform. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop to another heist where he locks children in a bathroom, the air heavy with the scent of dread as he escapes, leaving behind a discarded video cassette as a taunting clue. Escalating violence. The violence escalates, the air thick with the scent of coal smoke and death as Ustinovich targets exchange points. The 1990s decay evident in the rusted signs of firms like Debris and Tesca. The air heavy with the hum of panic as he kills a guard at Tesca. The 1990s decay, a fading backdrop in the cleaner cash he steals. The air thick with the scent of gunpowder as he fires without hesitation. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop in the rusted storefront of Lubyansky, where a shootout claims more lives. The air heavy with the scent of chaos as a dropped sports cap becomes a crucial clue. The 1990s decay, a fading memory in the cleaner bullets littering the floor without showing blood. The air thick with the scent of tension as police intensify their manhunt. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop to a question that lingers. The air heavy with the scent of fear as Moscow braces for more violence. How much longer could this phantom officer evade capture? The next chapter will delve into the Lubyansky shootout, the police manhunt, and the pawnshop sting, setting the stage for a dramatic unraveling. Chapter 4: The Lubyansky Shootout and the Net Titans. In Moscow's neon-lit heart, a deadly shootout erupted. But would the phantom heist king finally slip into the police's tightening net? The crisp October air of Moscow in 1993 bites through the bustling Lubyansky district, the air thick with the scent of coal smoke, damp concrete, and the faint tang of gunpowder, the neon glow of storefront signs casting flickering shadows on Soviet-era buildings, their faded facades peeling under the weight of time. The 1990s Soviet decay stark in the rusted tram tracks snaking through the streets, a stark contrast to the sleek Western goods displayed in shop windows. A city teetering on the edge of chaos. The hum of late-night shoppers fills the air, the ground worn by the footsteps of Moscow's wary residents. The 1990s decay evident in the rusted sign of the Lubyansky store, a silent testament to a crumbling system. The air heavy with the hum of panic as Mikhail Ustinovich plans his next strike. The 1990s decay, a fading backdrop in the cleaner Makarov pistol he grips. The air thick with the scent of tension as his reign of terror escalates. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop in the rusted doors he forces open. The air heavy with the scent of dread as a deadly showdown looms. Would the phantom heist king finally slip into the police's tightening net? The air heavy with the scent of ink and dread as Moscow braces for violence. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop to a tale of crime and pursuit. The Lubyansky shootout. Moscow's Lubyansky district becomes a battleground on an October night in 1993, the air thick with the scent of gunpowder and chaos as Ustinovich and his gang storm the store. The 1990s decay evident in the rusted shelves they knock over, the air heavy with the hum of panic as they fire without hesitation. The 1990s decay, a fading backdrop in the cleaner cash register they empty, the air thick with the scent of fear as guards return fire. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop in the rusted counter where a guard falls, his death symbolized by a shattered glass display without showing blood. The 1990s decay, a fading memory in the cleaner bullets littering the floor, the air heavy with the scent of dread as Ustinovich drops a sports cap in the chaos, a crucial clue left behind. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop to their escape as a police capture team arrives too late, the air thick with the scent of frustration as the city reels from the brazen violence, the press now buzzing with tales of the phantom heist king. The police manhunt intensifies. The Moscow police intensify their manhunt, the air thick with the scent of ink and urgency as they analyze the sports cap. The 1990s decay evident in the rusted police station where they work, the air heavy with the hum of determination as ballistics confirm the use of a Makarov pistol. The 1990s decay, a fading backdrop in the cleaner forensic tools they use, the air thick with the scent of suspicion as they identify Ustinovich as Valery Volovik. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop in the rusted filing cabinets where his photorobot lies, the air heavy with the scent of tension as the city declares a state of emergency. The 1990s decay, a fading memory in the cleaner radios they use to coordinate, the air thick with the scent of dread as patrols flood train stations and the metro. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop to their collaboration with Interpol, the air heavy with the scent of fear as they stake out Svet stores hoping to catch the phantom in the act. The pawnshop sting. The net tightens with a pawnshop sting, the air thick with the scent of coal smoke and anticipation as police stake out Moscow's pawnshops. The 1990s decay evident in the rusted signs of the shops, the air heavy with the hum of vigilance as a surveillance camera captures Ustinovich, Olga Pishlova, and Nikolai Gresko attempting to fence stolen goods. The 1990s decay, a fading backdrop in the cleaner footage they review, the air thick with the scent of triumph as a swift operation apprehends the trio. The 1990s decay, a haunting backdrop in the rusted pawn shop counter where they're caught, the air heavy with the scent of tension as Ustinovich presents a passport as Mikhail Ustinovich. The 1990s decay, a fading memory in the cleaner handcuffs they slap on him, the air thick with the scent of mystery as a question lingers, the air heavy with the scent of dread as Moscow awaits the truth. Was this truly the Phantom Heist King? Or had they caught the wrong man? The next chapter will delve into Ustinovich's interrogation, the scent identification breakthrough, and his confession, setting the stage for a dramatic conclusion. Chapter 5: The Phantom's Mask Falls. In Moscow's shadowed justice halls, a phantom faced the light. But would his confession bury the city's ghosts for good? The cold November air of Moscow in 1993 seeps into the dimly lit interrogation room. At the city's central police station, the air thick with the scent of stale coffee, ink, and the faint tang of tension, the fluorescent lights flickering overhead, casting harsh shadows on cracked concrete walls. A faded propaganda poster of a smiling worker peeling in the corner, its colors muted to dull reds and yellows, a city holding its breath. The hum of a tape recorder fills the air, the ground worn by the pacing of Moscow's investigators. The air heavy with the hum of anticipation as Mikhail Ustinovich faces his reckoning, the faded green paint on the walls chipped, revealing layers of history, the air thick with the scent of dread as the truth begins to unravel. A rusted radiator hissing faintly in the corner, the air heavy with the scent of inevitability as justice closes in. Would Ustinovich's confession bury Moscow's ghosts for good? The air heavy with the scent of ink and tension as the city seeks closure. The faded walls a haunting backdrop to a tale of crime and retribution. Ustinovich's interrogation. Moscow's police station buzzes with urgency, the air thick with the scent of ink and determination as investigator Sergei Rybakov confronts Ustinovich, the faded wooden chair creaking under his weight, the air heavy with the hum of suspicion as Ustinovich, clad in a worn leather jacket, insists he's not Valery Volovik, the faded light overhead casting stark shadows on his face, the air thick with the scent of defiance as he presents a passport identifying him as Mikhail Ustinovich, the faded document's authenticity a puzzle, the air heavy with the scent of tension as Rybakov presses harder, the faded walls echoing with the weight of the moment, the air thick with the scent of uncertainty as witnesses, Svet store cashiers, identify him as the heist leader, the faded chair scraping as Ustinovich shifts, his cold eyes betraying nothing, the air heavy with the scent of dread as Rybakov prepares a final gambit, the faded room a silent witness to the unraveling of a phantom. The scent identification breakthrough. A breakthrough emerges, the air thick with the scent of innovation and tension as forensic experts analyze the sports cap dropped at Lubyansky, the faded fabric holding a crucial clue, the air heavy with the hum of discovery as they employ a groundbreaking scent identification technique, the faded lab equipment humming softly, the air thick with the scent of chemicals as the test confirms the cap belongs to Ustinovich, the faded report on Rybakov's desk, a testament to science's triumph, the air heavy with the scent of inevitability as Ustinovich's denials crumble, the faded walls of the interrogation room closing in, the air thick with the scent of truth as he faces the undeniable evidence, the faded light flickering as his mask finally falls, the air heavy with the scent of dread as the Phantom Heist King's facade shatters, the faded tape recorder capturing every word of his unraveling confession and aftermath. Ustinovich confesses, the air thick with the scent of ink and regret as he admits to his crimes, the faded chair creaking as he leans forward, the air heavy with the hum of confession as he details the Svet heists, the exchange point robberies, and the murders, the faded walls absorbing his words, the air thick with the scent of closure as he recounts the Lubyansky shootout, a shattered glass display symbolizing the guard's death without showing blood, the faded light casting shadows on his face as he admits to impersonating Volovik, the faded tape recorder whirring as Rybakov listens, the air heavy with the scent of justice as Ustinovich is sentenced to death, the faded gavel striking in a Moscow courtroom, the air thick with the scent of finality as he's sent to Butyrka prison, the faded bars, a fitting end, the air heavy with the scent of reflection as Moscow grapples with his legacy, a question lingering, the air thick with the scent of unease as the city looks to the future. Can Moscow ever outrun the ghosts of its criminal past?
Don't scroll past. Hit like and subscribe if you're ready for the next twisted story.